can a woman lead worship in the church?
I think we saw that, Stephenson, and I deliberately, gave all of the raw material for you to work through this question. And it's important that as we grow in Christian maturity, we have to sometimes take only the building blocks and work the angles ourselves. Yeah, I don't want this Bible study to be a study where I am creating, clones of my theological ideas. Okay, when I say this is my idea, this is not the traditional idea, and for these reasons, I hold on to this idea. It means that you are free, rationally to continue to hold on to your theological idea as long as you have good reasons from the scripture to validate it. Okay, and we are all trying to look at perspectives. Sometimes we won't even be able to settle. So the question of women and church, again, if I can pull that slide up, is speaking about a contextual reading. So generally, the way we read these scriptures is not contextual at all, isn't it? So we have no idea that Timothy was stationed in Ephesus. We have no idea that in Ephesus, Artemis of the Ephesians was a big thing. And we have no idea that women priestesses were the ones that were predominantly leading the temple of Artemis. And their style of worship was through loud incantations, and people came and visited it because it's an ancient wonder of the world, and they almost came and visited it with a sense of learning the origins of life. Okay, and so on and so forth. So in that context, every scripture that is cited on this slide, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, seems to have a parallel in the temple of Artemis. Women should learn in quietness and full submission. There in the temple of Artemis, women were the authority, and they were learning and expressing what they learned through incantations, loud prayer. Second, a woman is not permitted to teach, but in the temple of Artemis, they, again, as I told you, were the authority. And they were authorities over man, because who is this Diana? Artemis of Ephesus? She is the mother of all life. She is the originator of all life. So it is a woman that came first according to this Artemis cult, and therefore sin entered through not the woman as the Genesis account speaks, but through men in the Artemis cult. And the fear and the reason why they were so hooked on to this Artemis is that many of them at that time, Pauline time, were dying in childbirth, and she is the goddess of life, and she is the originator of life, and she's a goddess of childbirth and midwifery. And so they were afraid that women will not be saved through childbirth, but Genesis says women will be saved. So these verses, when read all by themselves, will give you a totally different meaning about women speaking in church or not speaking in church, being in leadership, not being in leadership, so on and so forth. But when you're reading it in the context of what's happening in that Ephesian location where this goddess worship of Artemis was going, the meaning of these verses totally change. Okay, so again, I'm leaving it at that, and I want you to work it out yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, brother.